I'm Spider-Man.
With the recent announcement of Spider-Man 4 going into production next year, it has been officially confirmed. Tom Holland will soon be the longest-running Spider-Man. But if Holland were to exit the franchise at some point, how could the MCU carry on without him? Unlike the previous live-action Spider-Man franchises, the current Spider-Man movies are part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This means that killing this Peter Parker will cause ramifications in all stories within the MCU's main timeline. So, if Marvel chose to kill off Tom Holland's Peter Parker in the future, it will most likely have established a successor by then. The most anticipated candidate to be a new Spider-Man in the MCU is a live-action Miles Morales, whose presence has been teased across the Spider-Verse. In the comics, Miles comes from an alternate universe where Peter Parker dies fighting the Green Goblin. Although Miles rejects any heroic responsibility at first, witnessing Peter die inspires Miles to become a hero and take up the Spider-Man mantle. The MCU could adapt his origin story similarly, but make Miles a part of the main timeline instead. Introducing a live-action Miles Morales would reflect Marvel's commitment to diversity and storytelling that resonates with younger audiences. As a Black and Latino teenager, Miles brings a fresh perspective and represents the next generation in relation to Peter. This would be a lot more interesting than introducing a fourth live-action version of Peter Parker, since Miles is a character who has never been adapted into live-action before. Miles Morales would raise a whole new set of personal dilemmas and challenges that fit into the responsibility of the Spider-Man mantle, but are not exactly the same as Peter Parker's. The transition from Peter Parker to Miles Morales would require careful storytelling and should happen over a long period of time. Instead of introducing Miles in the same movie that he becomes the sole Spider-Man of the main timeline, Marvel could plan a slower introduction. A fifth Spider-Man movie could reveal how Peter Parker's experience with the genetically modified spider wasn't unique, and Peter could start mentoring Miles until the teen is ready to work alongside Peter. This mentor bond could reflect the bond between Miles Morales and Peter Parker in the Spider-Verse animated series. Two Spider-Men being active at the same time is not unheard of. This has happened in Marvel Comics several times before, and Peter and Miles specifically have been a Spider-Man duo in series like the 2012 5-issue storyline Spider-Man. Not only this team-up can be comics accurate, but there are several plot points from within the MCU that Marvel could explore to make this transition feel natural. Older and much more experienced, Peter Parker would be a mentor to Miles Morales, like Tony Stark was to him prior to his death. This relationship would drastically raise the emotional impact of Parker dying. Not that it wouldn't be sad without the mentorship, but it would become as devastating as watching Peter talk to a dying Tony in Avengers Endgame. Peter's encouragement would give Miles the confidence to assume the mantle in a solo position for the first time, turning him from a hesitant teenager into a capable young hero. It would also be interesting to show Peter and Miles realize how Miles has powers that Peter does not, including camouflage and a venom blast. Showcasing these powers right away would differentiate Miles from Peter, and his unique abilities could play into specific future MCU battles. In true MCU fashion, Peter's death would most likely be a sacrifice, either on a world-saving scale or to save an individual person. Peter sacrificing his life could represent a new level of maturity. This seems like a natural step for a hero who has decided to not remind his friends he exists in Spider-Man: No Way Home. Peter might sacrifice himself to stabilize a multiverse situation during the Secret Wars event, having a similar impact on the multiverse saga as Tony's sacrifice had in the Infinity Saga. Peter could meet his end in a battle against Dr. Doom. Marvel has yet to reveal whether the audience will even see Robert Downey Jr.'s face behind Doom's mask. That fact that Doom resembles Tony would definitely influence Peter during a final battle, and it could make any showdown between the two even more heartbreaking. Peter Parker's death would be deeply felt by all Avengers and heroes who have interacted with Peter. He will leave a lasting legacy on the world and its heroes. Should Miles Morales become the new Spider-Man, Marvel would have the flexibility to continue exploring youth-oriented storylines. With characters like Kate Bishop, William Maximoff, Cassie Lang, Kamala Khan, and America Chavez already a part of the MCU, Miles Morales could fit right into a Young Avengers lineup. Bringing Miles Morales into the MCU and making him the primary Spider-Man would be a historic decision. Miles Morales specifically is the best option for a Spider-Man replacement because he is a character who deeply respects Peter Parker and his legacy in the comics. He would humbly take on the mantle, expanding the meaning of the Spider-Man role for the next generation of heroes. While Miles Morales seems like the most natural successor to Peter Parker, he's not the only one who could step up as the next Spider-Man. Other characters, like Gwen Stacy and Ben Reilly, have compelling stories that would bring unique flavors to the Spider-Man legacy within the MCU. Gwen would be the most logical Spider-Man successor if it isn't Miles. Popularized by the Spider-Verse animated movies, Spider-Gwen is Gwen Stacy from an alternate universe where she gains spider powers instead of Peter Parker. Gwen's abilities and experience bring a distinct approach to being a hero. She doesn't simply replicate Peter's abilities, but she combines agility with a creative and innovative fighting style, often channeling her skills as a punk rock drummer. Ben Reilly, known as the Scarlet Spider, is another fascinating candidate. In the comics, Ben is a clone of Peter Parker who shares Peter's memories and powers, but he struggles with a deep sense of identity and purpose. His backstory provides a rich emotional context that differs from Peter's and would add complexity to the Spider-Man lore in the MCU. A fourth option would be Cindy Moon, also known as Silk, who has a similar origin story to Peter's. In the comics, Cindy is bitten by the same radioactive spider as Peter, giving her abilities that mirror and even surpass his in some ways. Although we think Miles Morales is the best out of all options, including those beyond the ones mentioned in this video, the MCU could use the same mentorship strategy with these other characters and build up a smooth transition for the web-slinging superhero of the new generation. If Marvel ultimately decided to kill off Tom Holland's Peter Parker, it would be a bold narrative choice that would redefine Spider-Man's legacy in the MCU. This hypothetical death would deliver an emotional conclusion to Peter's journey, underscoring the impact of his character on the Marvel Universe and the values he represents. Potential successors like Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, Ben Reilly, and others offer exciting possibilities for Spider-Man's future, each bringing their own personalities, abilities, and struggles to the role. But no matter who replaces Tom Holland as the MCU's solo Spider-Man, the process would need to be spread across multiple projects to have the desired positive impact on audiences. Do you think Marvel will kill off Tom Holland's Peter Parker one day? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, thanks for watching CBR.